morning, kids. Now, I have a very special treat for you today. Our very own Jeanne Ryan has a lot of really interesting stories, so we decided to have story time with Jeanne Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeanne Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thanks, Cooper, for that fine introduction. So, I do have quite a few stories that start off when I was very young. I was the youngest of 5, and I don't know how my parents did it because there was a lot of behind-the-scenes shenanigans going on. So, I've been told my stories are pretty funny, and here we go. So, we'll start off when I was 2 years old, and the premise of this story is the fact that my grandma, Ryan, was visiting our house. Well, we were good friends with our neighbors, but my grandma couldn't go up the steps. She was pretty much like as wide as she was tall. She was like a weeble and wore those little black witchy poo shoes. So my dad took our station wagon. Like if you've ever seen the movie Vacation, it was one of those where it had like the way back seat, one of those huge station wagons. Put my grandma in the car, went to our neighbor's house, and they had a little bit of a sloped driveway. So my grandma could get out of the car and get into the house. Okay, so get grandma in the house, everything's cool. So we're next door at the Bergs. I'm 2, mind you. Somehow, whoever was supposed to watch Jeanne in that time frame slipped up, and I got outside, got into the car. I know I locked all the doors. Believe it or not, I can remember this from being 2 years old because the steering wheel was super high. I just remember like holding the steering wheel. Next thing I know, the car is sliding down the driveway across a busy street, and well, fairly busy, and crashes into some dude's brand new car. Now, the reason I know the details on this is because my dad was an insurance man, first of all, which was kind of funny. And so he used to tell all my friends, yeah, and then I'm writing out the claim, and I had to write driver 2 years old, and he'd get a little bit of a chuckle out of that. Of course, nothing happened to the car, nothing happened to me, nothing happened to our big station wagon. But this other part I do remember, too. So here comes my 4 siblings running out of the house because you just hear this crash. And I remember looking up out the windows, and they're all yelling, open the door! And I'd just sit there, And so then they'd be like, roll the window down, Jeanne. And I kept saying, nope, because I knew I was in trouble. And so they'd had to call the fire department and the police department. So the Milwaukee Sheriff's Office shows up, had one of those little jimmies, and every time they'd pop the lock, I'd shut it. Well, of course, I'm 2. I don't realize I can't get in the back seat fast enough to lock them all. So they finally got one of the doors open. I remember my dad scooping me up under his arm, and both my brothers standing there with the biggest grins you'd ever seen going, ooh, you're in trouble! I don't remember what my punishment was, but I was only 2. So, again, we still don't know how I was able to get the car out of gear and have it roll down the hill, but I didn't even need a key, and that's the first time I ever went driving.